Hi, and welcome to The Curling Show, the podcast that brings you interviews with the sport's top athletes and the people who shape the game. Brought to you by Fit to Curl, a sport-specific guide to training for the world's greatest game by Team Martin third and Olympic gold medalist John Morris, with some help from me, Dean Gemmell. Off-season training is so important to help you not only play better next season, but also feel better on the ice. And there are programs in the book that will work for curlers of all abilities and fitness levels. You can buy Fit to Curl at fittocurl.com, at Curling Pro Shops, and at Chapters, Indigo, and Kohl's stores in Canada. Back in the rings after 2 seasons playing second for Wayne Middaugh, John Epping, welcome to The Curling Show.
Thanks for having me on, Dean.
Well, it's a new team next season. Scott Bailey at third, Daryl Prebble at second, Trevor Wall at lead. I think just about everyone, at least in Ontario, expected to see you return to skipping after spending the last couple of seasons and a bit with Wayne. But after your team was eliminated in Edmonton, did you consider anything else besides skipping again?
Not really, unless something, some great offer came. When it came to Ontario, there's really only 2 guys that you want to play for, and that is Wayne and probably Glenn, obviously. And I have the Brier in sights too. So to go to a cross-country team like we did in the past with Wayne just wouldn't obviously make sense.
For many, I think the one surprise might be Scott Bailey playing third for you. Not that he can't play that position after playing lead all those years, but I think it's going to be the first time in an awfully long time that he's not competing on the ice with Wayne Middaugh. Was Wayne surprised?
I think he was a little shocked. Now, obviously, Scott was not going to play lead next year. He made that quite clear with us, just because of his back. And, I mean, he has played with Wayne for 15 years and played lead for 15 years, and the guy is so talented. He's such a versatile player that he really could play any position. Heck, he could probably skip our team. So I'm sure Wayne was pretty shocked, obviously, but, he's given Wayne 15 years, and I think he was ready to maybe for something little fresh, new, and obviously to play back end.
When did you and he start talking about it? At the end of the season or during the year? Or
it was at the end of the season. We probably in February, late February. I kind of had come to the decision that it was time for me to go play back end. And when I looked in Ontario, I thought, I had really wanted Scott to play third. He had played third a couple of times in some spiels when John Mead couldn't make it, and obviously he was great in those spiels. So I had brought it up to him probably at the end of February.
Yeah, he did play third in spiels too, and as John Mead said, a guy can only throw corner guards and come around freezes for so many years before he needs a bit of variety, I guess.
Well, and that's it, and he can throw it hard. People obviously don't know that, but he can whip her down there pretty good.
Yeah, I saw him play second actually at the Tour Championship a few years ago, an event when you were sort of shuttling back and forth between Toronto and St. John's, and I know he can throw it hard, and actually I know him a little bit from being a junior in Ontario a few years ago. I'm not going to say how many, but what do you take away from playing with Wayne and John Mead for that matter?
What an unbelievable experience it was the last kind of 2.5 years. I got to play all the big events all the time, just to learn the game from Wayne, from the strategy standpoint, the way he saw the game, and then playing with John and Scott, obviously in the front end. I had never played front end before, so just to learn the dynamics of what happens at the other end of the sheet was big. And, they were really helpful along the way. And I take away so much. And I know in the last 2 I got way more out of it than they would, right? Because they've seen everything. They've been in all the big games.
Yeah, that's true. You play with 3 real veteran guys. Was it a bit strange when you first joined that rink?
Oh, I was really nervous the first time. I remember playing a spiel in Victoria with them, and I don't think I made a shot till the quarterfinals. I was pretty nervous, but they were fantastic, and they said, you're going to settle in. Don't worry. Keep going. It'll come. We're not worried, which made me really relax, and then was able to have a pretty solid 2 years with them.
Probably a better approach than you'll be fired by the next end if you don't start playing, I guess. But
I think Wayne has a reputation that's not true. Really, I found him easy to play for. I had a blast with him.
One thing I found with Wayne is he's probably as tough on himself as anybody else, right?
Oh, the 3 of us could play terrible, and he would stand on his head. We'd lose by 1, and he would still blame it on himself. He is hard on himself. He believes that because he has the last rock in his hand, he should be able to win all the time. I mean, and I think from a standpoint of the three of us, we always wanted to play so good for him because he was just so hard on himself.
Well, what sort of mindset do you bring to skipping?
I think I'm pretty level-headed, calm, cool. Hopefully, I don't get too up and down. I'm skipping, and I think I get the game from a strategy standpoint, and I'm looking forward to. Wayne and I saw the game a little different, and I think that's what I really look forward to, and I look forward to having the last rock in my hand again. When you say you saw it different, what do you mean? Well, I think Wayne's was probably more aggressive than I was, or that I tend to be. I'm probably a little more conservative, a little more controlled. Where I probably don't draw as much and get as many rocks in play as Wayne. When he did back in 98 or from 95 to 2001, when there was not a team that was more dominant than Wayne. They drew a lot, and I probably won't take that same approach to the game. Talking about styles of play, you mentioned the fact that with these guys, you had a chance to play in all the big events, and while your team didn't play quite as big a schedule as some of the other top 10 teams on tour will do, you did play even in some of the Western events that maybe as an Ontario guy you hadn't played in the past, and maybe you had a chance to see some of the Western teams just that one cut below. They're not quite ready for primetime teams, but that are awfully good. How would you compare that level of team to the same level of team, say, in Ontario? Ontario is the West, I would say, is probably a little stronger than Ontario. You have more teams out there that are stronger, right? You look at Alberta, you have Furby, Cooey, Martin, Appleman. All those guys are great, right? And so those Alberta teams get to play all four of those. Where in Ontario now, you really just have the two. You have Middaugh and Howard. So I don't think you get the opportunity to play the big teams all the time. And all those provinces are so close together that it's easy to travel to another province. Right. Where in Ontario it's a little tougher to get out there. But there are some great talents in Ontario coming up that really, if they could travel a bit, like for example, Matchett's really kind of made a move in the last couple of years, and it's good to see those guys go out and travel and get better. They're now in the slams and improve their games. And Jerry Gertz has set up a great thing in the Ontario Curling Tour, and there's so many events you can play in, week in and week out, and even some of the top teams are coming in and playing those events, and that's going to be helpful for Ontario as well. Speaking of schedule, what sort of schedule will this team have? You're a guy with a busy professional life. I know Scott's fairly busy. Daryl Prebble has a pretty challenging job, I think. So what do you guys plan to do? We're going to play a lot, actually, but in Ontario for the first year. I think we found out the trials process is now a 2-year process. So I think first year we'll just kind of get our feet wet, play a lot in Ontario. Kind of hopefully gel. Hopefully we gel early. We expect to be as best as we can early on. And the goal for us is to get back into the slams. We probably won't be in when you start the season, but the whole idea for us the first year is to kind of play our way back into the slams. That's sort of what I figured, I guess. It is good, the Ontario Curling Tour and the World Curling Tour events in Ontario. You have a chance to get some points without having to travel west as much as you might have in the past. Daryl Prebble is playing second on your team. I hope he's purchased a certain book on curling fitness since he's been skipping the last few years. Did you start to think he'd be a good second after you watched your team score a 7 against him a couple years ago? Well, we just knew that he couldn't, that he shouldn't call the game because we knew he'd draw too much. No, I'm just kidding. That's an interesting point, though. You mentioned drawing too much, and when I spoke to him about that, it seemed they played about 6 freezes to try to get out of it. Well, exactly, and we just thought I remember John Mead, obviously from Manitoba, and Wayne taught John how to throw what hack weight was, and Johnny just couldn't believe that hit something, and that actually is an ongoing joke with we still give Daryl a hard time, and I know every time we see Johnny, he brings it up some weekend.
Hey, speaking of John and hack weight and Wayne teaching John how to throw hack weight, sometimes I've heard Wayne, did he do this at all with you? Sometimes I've heard him say things like my hack weight.
Yeah, Wayne has an unbelievable knack just to throw, everybody does, but just to throw the right weight. Hack is hack weight. Like, you just tap it to the hack where, I'll be honest, I have a tendency to, your hack weight is firm. It's always a little firm hack, and he is just so good with the touch shots that, if it's backline, it's backline. It's not hack weight if it's backline, right? And that was his big thing. So whenever you get in the hack, he'd say, he'd look at me and say, my hack weight.
So his my hack weight really means not the shitty hack weight you're throwing.
Pretty much in a nonchalant way. That's exactly what it meant.
I always thought it meant his hack weight could be a touchdown, to be honest. But now I know. I thought his could be, I might not have to remove everything here versus maybe when a third throws it, you want to have everything removed or make sure it gets out of the rings. But interesting.
Yeah, he was just so good at that. That was such a huge strength of his.
Hey, speaking of Wayne, he's playing with Joe Franz, Scott Howard, and Scott Foster, an old teammate of yours, next year. I kind of like this lineup I don't know why. It strikes me as an unusual one, and I kind of like the way it sounds. What's your take on this one?
I think it's going to be good. I played with Scott Foster for 3 or 4 years, and he is such a smart sweeper and a good player. So for him at lead, he's got good touch. It's going to be great for Wayne, and Wayne can because it's going to be different now. Wayne doesn't have Scott sweeping his rocks, right? That's a big difference for him.
How much was the communication on weight and things like that? How much of it was Scott and Wayne?
A lot. Scott knew Wayne so well, knew the right things to say to him. That was a big. I mean, you could always tell that the chemistry between the two. It was so easy, right? You just kind of, as my fit was just to fit in and not try to screw it up for him.
Yeah, his new lineup could be explosive, or it could work really well. I don't know. We'll see. I imagine they're not playing a ton either, but we'll see what they do. No,
I don't think they'll play as much. I mean, Wayne's scaled down a bit, with family and work, and Scott Foster's got a busy time with the Oakville Curling Club. So, it'll be a good fit. Joe's a great player. Joe Franz is a great player, and Scott Howard, having somebody young, kind of a young workhorse on the front end will be great for Wayne, and hopefully give him that little kind of enthusiasm.
All right, John, we finished with a run back. I give you a topic, and you give me your thoughts in 1 to 3 words.
Okay.
Kathy Overton Clapham's exit from Team Jennifer Jones.
Understandable, but also sad.
Mixed curling.
Everybody should try it once.
I think you tried it more than once, didn't you? Weren't you a 2-time Ontario champion in mixed or something?
Well, that's what happens when you win it. You have to go back.
You have to go back, right? You're screwed then. How about mixed doubles curling?
Entertaining, a good, different.
Randy Furby playing with Brad Gushu.
We'll see.
Jason Gunlickson playing for Russia.
Tough. That's a good one. That's an open can right there. Good opportunity, but I think it'll be hard.
What would you have said if they talked to you?
I don't think I would have. From my standpoint, being young and around the same age as Jason, I probably wouldn't have done it. Now, if you're looking for money and you need money, then obviously, go for it. But I would find it awfully hard playing in the Olympic gold medal game against Canada from another country and not winning it for Canada. I just don't think. I don't think I could take that.
Well, what if you were playing online poker for a living instead of selling for Synthes Canada?
Go for it. Go do it.
Yeah, I think Jason's so committed to curling. That's part of it. He's just he's all in with it. So. Anyways, we'll see what happens with those guys. I like them. I hope it works out for them.
I do. I agree. Jason is great for the game. He's got a great future, and I hope it works out well for him.
Don Walchuk, Chris Shilley, DJ Kidby, and Don Bartlett.
I like it. I think it'll be great for the two Dons to go with those guys. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's interesting. The two veteran Dons bookending two young guys with a bit of fire. A qualifying process for Canadian championships among all 14 regional associations, something we could eventually see in the Tim Hortons Brier.
Yeah, changes need to be made.
Yeah, I think they're going to try this thing. I think in some of these other championships, and I fully expect it to become a thing they use at the Brier. A bit of a bummer if you win your province and you have to fight your way back into the Brier, but also would make games between teams that are 3 and 7 exciting. So
it could be. I mean, it's hard to. You don't want to hurt the history of the Brier. The Brier is the Brier, right? And it's the show. But I know in Ontario, I'd like to change our process.
How about a Canadian Olympic trials qualifying process that lasts 2 years instead of 3?
It's needed.
Yeah, I think that was a good move. A Team Canada at the Tim Hortons Brier.
No, we don't need it.
And finally, a bronze medal game at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts and the Tim Hortons Brier.
Not necessary. 3-4 game, really. You win that 3-4 game, you're at least guaranteed third.
Yeah, I think the bronze medal game is I don't know, bad idea. But I guess they get a few more fans and seats for a game, might be the thinking. But that'll probably be the hangover game is what it'll be, to be honest. But
I would completely agree.
No, because I don't think a guy's going to come back with that bronze medal from the Brier around his neck and show that off at the club, is he?
No, not at all.
You're not going to do that at all?
I don't think he'd be allowed in the club.
Yeah, there you go, with it on. Yeah, be a bit like wearing your Purple Heart a few years past the Brier. So
the Intimidator, we call it.
Yeah, that's what you call it, do you? The Intimidator.
The Intimidator with the badges all down the arm.
Yeah. In Ontario, the guys used to love those zone crests, right?
That's exactly it.
The zone crest down the sleeve from Silver Tankard in 1978 or something. All right, John. Hey, I appreciate your time. I know you said you're on your way to playing a golf tournament with Wayne's charity golf tournament. Good luck with that. And
thanks a lot.
Good luck next season. Do you guys have any sponsors you want to mention? I always give everybody a chance to do that. I don't know if you have anybody lined up yet.
Yeah, that we do. We have Dominion Insurance of Canada. We are very excited to have them on board, and as well Balance Plus.
Oh, nice. There you go. Good for them, and good for you. Good luck to all. Good luck again. I keep saying good luck, but anyways, good luck next year, and we'll talk again.
That's great. Thanks for having me on the show.
That's John Epping on The Curling Show. No matter how hot your summer has been, it's a good time to start thinking about next curling season by following an off-season training program in Fit to Curl by Olympic gold medalist John Morris. Available at fittocurl.com, at your favorite curling pro shop, and at Chapters, Indigo, and Kohl's stores in Canada. As always, thanks for listening.